Hi guys, so the Crye AVS Adaptive Vest System. I'm gonna cover history in terms of how it was developed and its role in SOCOM. The history part will be like a video essay with some B-roll. The B-roll will be 75th Ranger Regiment. And the rest, so placards to comms, will be examples on my own AVS. I have mine on a different location, so I just drew up one. You probably know how one looks like anyway. So, leaving timestamps in the description. Thanks for watching. The AVS has probably stemmed from a prototype armor carrier made for the Soldier Protection System program wanting to replace the IOTV Gen 2 around 2011 to 2012. This version featured a lot more soft armor in the QR system similar to the IOTV. A lot more supplemental armor was also included. A multi-layer plate bag having a covert in an overt plate bag similar to the Marine PC Gen 3, having a similar closure system to the MBAF plate bag of the production model. The harness seems to have stayed unchanged to the original design. The illustrations show structural support for the STKSS system. The plan to enable both 3 and 2 band cummerbunds seems to have been a thing since first inception. In the end, it lost due to cost against the IOTV Gen 3. The first official version of the AVS was shown at SHOT Show 2012. This wasn't much different to the current AVS, just a bit more hyperlon on the placard. SHOT Show 2013 was the introduction of the production model AVS. According to the Crye employee there, 1,500 units were pre-ordered from their core customers. After that, they would work off civilian orders. This core customer base, to my research, could have been the 75th Ranger Regiment, since they started to use the AVS in big numbers very early, starting in 2013, as well as Army Special Forces. The SOCOM issued AVS variant is using the MBAF plate bags. This is due to the Eagle MBAF having been the main issue carrier for over half a decade before that, making MBAF cut soft armor the standard. The AVS saw continuous use from SOCOM and JSOC units up until, at least for the Ranger Regiment, the 24th of February 2024, where it was replaced by the JPC 2.0. Why it was replaced is unknown to this date, but the fact that Rangers themselves were switching to JPC 2.0s if they didn't have specific positions that required an AVS like machine gunners or breachers might have been a move to address the Ranger Regiment's direct needs while saving costs. As we now have covered the details of the AVS's history, we can get into the information most useful for the end user, starting with the placards. First we're going to look at placards. Just going to remove this one here. This is the Shaw ARC placard version 3 with a triple 556 RAM insert and a triple 10 speed for 556 on top. I use a swift clip adapter from Axle Advanced to give my plate carrier the opportunity to use all swift clip placards. Attaches down here. Further info on it later. Other swift clip placards would be, for example, the Stratagem Branch Burrow. Or you can use any other of the thousands of options out there. Velocity systems, Haley Strategic or Spiritus systems. As well as the AVP offers the ability to use G-hook placards like the Faro Adapt and Dope system of placards and other G-hook placards like the one from Devtex. If we talk placards, of course we have to talk about Crye placards. Crye placards work by having 4 straps on the back that route through webbing loops and then are velcroed into a kangaroo on the front plate bag. They sit a little higher than normal swift click placards on an AVS. You have Molle, a kangaroo, and a flapped version for 3 magazines, one for 556 and one for 308. If you want to have the ability to use Crye placards on a non-Crye carrier, you can either mod the placards and add swift clips instead of the 4 straps, or buy the Axle Advanced Crye to swift clip adapter. Now we're going to look at a key part of setting up your carrier: harness and cummerbunds. We have 2 options in terms of how to wear the carrier and a lot of options of including cummerbunds or not including cummerbunds. I use my carrier without a cummerbund, meaning harness only, using only the supplied 2-band-ish style of cummerbund that is supplied with the harness. There are also extensions for the harness to make it a 3-band, but I don't use them and I rarely see them used. The harness attaches via these 2 loops on the rear of the front plate bag. It slides in and you mount your cummerbund or the Velcro section of the harness over it to secure it. There's also the option to run the AVS harness only with a 1-band cummerbund for considerations in terms of emergency doffing, but it hasn't worked for me, so I use it that way. Crye offers many cummerbunds. They offer a 3-band, a 2-band, a 1-band, an elastic cummerbund, and you can also use the JPC 2.0's cummerbunds with the enhanced quick release loops. The cummerbund attaches on the back of the harness via these 3 metal loops. You take your cummerbund's end webbing, put it through, and secure it with the 6 tri-glides you get with your set. The harness is attached via 2 1-inch webbing straps per side, which interface with the rear of the rear plate bag. This also allows you to manipulate the height of the rear plate bag to your liking. Some like it farther up, some like it farther down. Also depends on how you wear the harness. The harness is held together by a piece of 1/16 inch shock cord, which allows the harness to move. This hug of the harness on your body allows it to distribute weight very effectively and also makes it extremely comfortable. You can also use a 3-band cummerbund instead of the stock harness, which would make it into a carrier more akin to a JPC or any other sandwich type carrier. In terms of harness, you can either use the stock AVS harness or the micro harness by Axle Advanced. This one is best used in conjunction with the AVS yoke that was originally made for the AVS chest rig, but serves with the plate carrier as a more comfortable way than just using the straps that normally attach the carrier to the harness. The micro harness takes away a lot of the bulk the stock harness has, but also seems to be less effective in terms of load carriage. I myself see the AVS in the harness configuration as a load-bearing carrier, so I wouldn't use the micro harness, but some people find it more comfortable. As we're gonna talk armor, we're gonna talk plate bags. The AVS offers 3 different kinds of plate bags. We have standard cut, ambuff cut, like I use on mine, and you have swimmer cut. As a short explanation, the standard cut is your run-of-the-mill rectangular cut plate bag, accommodating sappy-shaped, swimmer-shaped, and shooter-cut shaped plates, as well as having the option to run a sappy-shaped backer if you run ICW plates instead of standalone plates. The AMBAF plate bags are specifically made for ICW upgrade plates like eSappies, Sappies, or the Ceradyne upgrade plates, but they also accommodate standalone plates if they're thin enough. And as a third option, we have the swimmer cut plate bags made for SOCOM spear swimmer cut plates, which only work as a standalone plate bag, as there are, to my knowledge, no ICW swimmer cut plates and no soft armor swimmer cut backers. Talking about the plate bags I use on my AVS, I use MBF style plate bags. Just personal taste, because I want to have the option to run both ICW and standalone plates. Opening up down here, the AVS MBF plate bags have a bit more beefier closure system than the standard and swimmer cut. If we take a looky here, on the front we have the armor plate. I personally use some old eSappy plates. I want to upgrade to some Ref H's, but they're rare and expensive in Europe, so I have to make do with what I get, and that's the MBAF insert. Mine looks a bit crooked because mine is from Combat Systems, a Czech firm, which has deviated a bit from the original or for the right MBAF cut. This one is a bit more trapezoid shaped and not as curvy as the original.
but it makes do and it works as an MBEF backer. Also has a bit better frag performance as a normal soft armor backer. As you can see on the front, I have a type pocket for the hard plate, so it doesn't shovel around in the plate bag, and behind that is the space for the MBAF armor.
So, in terms of side plates, talking about main plates, now we go to side plates. There are many different side plate bag options for the AVS. You first have the 6x6s that I use, then you have the 6x9s and the new MSAC series of side plate pouches. These range from 6x6 to 6x16. They also offer a new and modernized version of the 6x9s. There are also the two contract versions, the 7.5x6s and the 9x6s, going into more horizontal direction. These were probably made for the 8x6 Ceradyne MSAP plates, which are a bit larger and were only used by Delta a few times. At least I only saw refs of Delta. But coming to side plates itself. Side plates often have the problem of not fitting in your side plate pouch. The 6x6s by Crye, for example, only accept 5.75 by 5.75 by about 1 inch thickness side plates, the exact dimensions of the MSAP side plate, as it is made by LTC or the older versions by Ceradyne. If you now have the problem of running thicker side plates with backers, or get issued side plates, you can for one mount them inside the harness and just add Velcro hook on the inside facing side of your molly on your side plate pouch and mount it like my 6x6s. Or you can use the space in between the harness and its accompanying cummerbund and sandwich your side plate in between, which may lead to some fitment issues if you don't fit the harness at its exact width. A third option would be mounting the side plate on your 3-band or 2-band cummerbund and mounting that above the harness. So coming to radio communication integration. For some people that wear radios often, it's pretty important to wear those. I have two pouches here. For one's a PRC 152 pouch from Tier Tactical and a JPC radio wing. The radio wing is pretty self-explanatory. It's a wing pouch, so you mount it on your plate bag and sandwich it, in this case, between the harness cummerbund, if you wear it like me, or just any other cummerbund you have. The pro of a wing pouch is, of course, it sits more slick with your body and you don't waste any molly real estate. The problem I found though with the harness is that it sometimes feels a bit more loose when I wear it with a radio wing pouch, but that just could be a skill issue on my part because I'm not built like a Navy SEAL or something. Not yet, at least. Other than that, it fits pretty snugly, and you of course have to watch how you fit it because the MBAF plate bags do put it on an offset. The PRC 152 pouch, on the other hand, can be worn overtly on the front. Especially nice for this one because it's a tilt-down pouch. Personally, as I don't have a PRC 152, I use this one rarely. But I would actually maybe mount it on the front if I needed to use my PRC 152 often. The other option, of course, is mounting it on the rear of the cummerbund and on the rear plate bag, which of course would give you more freedom of movement on the front. In terms of cable routing, the AVS isn't that great in cable routing due to not having any Velcro 1-rep or pass-throughs, especially designed for that, like for example the Shaw Concepts ARC. But you still can use the built-in kangaroo pouch on the top, the shoulder pads, and the space between the rear plate bag and the harness on the top, where the webbing interfaces with that buckle. In terms of third-party upgrades, we do have a lot of options for the AVS. I personally used the Crye Adaptive Vest placard, as well as I used, for a brief time, the 8294 Nylon Works shoulder QR with first beer tubes. As I mentioned Crye Advanced a lot in this video, they do offer a lot of upgrades for the AVS itself. I mentioned the micro harness, I mentioned the AVP, but they also have
first spear tubes for cummerbunds, and the subload adapter for danglers, which does replace the dick flap panel loops, so if you need it, you need it. If you don't, you don't. But there are also companies like MOS Tactical, which make alternative plate backs options for the AVS. In their way, they mod existing carriers like the Shaw Arc or Spiritus LV119 to fit on the AVS. And some of their principles in terms of how straps are hidden to not interfere with the harness are pretty interesting. Then there's, for example, the L4 PC made by the Finnish company L4 Performance, which already integrated AVS harness compatibility from the get-go. But to be fair, that carrier started as a front plate back for the AVS and rear plate back for the AVS, and then evolved into its own thing. In general, I can shout out L4 Performance for products like the Triangle Side Armor or the L4 PC EVAC rear plate bag, which do provide, again, a lot more functionality to the AVS if you need it, be it by far increased side armor coverage or the enhanced EVAC capability, which does replace a tubular nylon pull-out handle. So this is the end of the video. Thanks for sticking through. If you did, you probably didn't. I wouldn't either. It's over 18 fucking minutes. ADHD, attention span, you know, this shit, that shit. Anyway, thanks for the support, guys. I know my subscriber count has been shooting up, although I didn't post for like 2 years, 2.5 years. Probably closer to 4 to 3 by now. In terms of video ideas, I do have ideas in terms of carriers. I do want to cover the Crye Cage armor chassis and the Crye Cage armor suit, which has the extremity armor, the like plated arm, and the belt, and all the little plates, and all the autistic shit Caleb Crye did in the early 2000s. The KBS Strelok, the new Russian AVS-like carrier, CPC-like carrier. Pretty cool thing, but also gonna take some time. Armor Plate 101. Even if armor plate videos have been done dimes a dozen, I want to do good coverage of materials, what to look for, what to expect, prices, especially here in Europe, because the European plate market is fucked. Like really, really bad. Again, I paid for my ESAPIs, which are like 2006 and 2007. I paid $600 for a pair. For that money, you get Ref H's or Ref J's in the US mint. Anyway, join my Discord, talk to the autistic people, and thanks for just the support and shit.